Catherine Anaya, and welcome to MHG TV. In this episode, you will meet standout real estate agent Julie Calza. In less than 3 years, she's produced millions of dollars in volume. It's a disciplined approach to real estate she cultivated at 17 years old when she enlisted in the Marine Corp.
What made you decide to do something so bold at such a young age?
Well, I grew up with a lot of limiting beliefs and limiting mindsets. And so I thought that because I was a girl, I couldn't do certain things, or that because I was a tomboy, I couldn't do certain things. And there was all these deep-seated beliefs that were kind of holding me back. And I decided to go into the military. And of course, I had to go into the hardest one because I wanted to see if I could do it. That was really the reason.
And what kind of an impact has being in the military served you in how you've been shaped as a person?
When you see that your body and your mind can go through that kind of tear down and be built back up and come out the other side stronger, you really feel like you can do anything. That any problem seems small, and there isn't a problem that can't be solved. So it gives you a unique perspective on hurdles and obstacles that you might run into.
What has it been like for you personally to be able to serve your country?
Incredibly fulfilling. I've always been very patriotic, even from a young age. My grandfather served 30 years in the Army and is incredibly traditional, and he wasn't super excited about the concept of his only granddaughter going into the Marine Corps, and none of my parents served, but it was just this calling that I felt, and it's something I really believed in.
After the military, she followed another calling to real estate.
So you decided to go into real estate. Mm-hmm. What was it that prompted you to decide on that as a career?
Well, I think it's something that a lot of people run into. I was taken advantage of. I bought a house and certain things were hidden, and my own realtor that was supposed to represent me wasn't doing what they were supposed to do, and they were just wanting the deal to go through and wanting to get the deal done, and they just weren't advising me very well. And I didn't find these things out until later. And so when I started seeing them and started really being impacted by them, it really, really affected me, and it really bothered me that my family had been taken advantage of, because when you come out of something like the Marine Corps, when you're in something like the Marine Corps, and then you let someone take advantage of you in something as simple as buying a house, it really bothers you. It makes you angry, right? And I noticed that military families were going through this over and over and over again, not actually having the VA loan benefit explained to them, not actually having somebody walk them through every step of the process so they understood what they were getting and they understood how to best utilize the money. It was just about the sale. And so my whole adage is it's always more than a sale.
Calza has since become a VA relocation realtor and has distinguished herself as a Luke Air Force agent specialist with an emphasis on finding homes for active duty, reserve members, and DoD affiliates of Luke, priding herself on creating authentic relationships with her clients.
Because if I'm being dead honest, anyone can learn how to practice real estate. If we're all on the same page here, you can go to real estate school, you can actually read the contract, memorize the lines, you understand what it means, you can learn the process step by step. I mean, go be a transaction coordinator. That is the best way to learn the process because you see every piece of it. Mm-hmm. But what you can't just learn or be taught is the experience you provide. Because that comes from within. That comes from yourself and how much you care about the people you're trying to help.
So talk to me about monetarily the success you experienced that first year, because it has been consistent and it has been quick.
Yeah, well, Catherine, you're asking me the hard questions. I'm not very good at talking about myself like we were talking about before we started. So I had my first 6 figures made within 6 months. And that's in GCI. And I sold my first year 12.8 million in volume, which translates into, you add up the units and how much they cost, and that's what volume means. A lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. And then last year I had 2018 93 units and $21.7 million in volume.
That is incredible.
Yes.
So what do you attribute to that?
Consistent activities. So I use the Greatness Tracker. My home group actually has it in back office, a version of it. Mine is an incredibly souped up version of it. And if anybody wants to have more information on that, keep an eye out. Occasionally I teach a workshop on the Greatness Tracker, how to maximize the activities, which are the right activities to be doing and to be doubling down on, and how to actually learn how to do your metrics properly.
Mm-hmm. So what would your advice be then for people who are watching this, maybe they've just gotten into the business, for that consistent and quick result like you experienced? What is your philosophy behind that?
Well, you have to be willing to work. I've had agents sit in front of me and ask me how to have really quick success working 10 hours a week, and that just doesn't work. I worked 80 to 100 hours a week to build this business. Everything from building my own website platform to getting an IDX set up to having opt-ins and developing content that made people interested in what I was doing. And all of those things take time and effort. And in the beginning, you're not going to be hiring somebody to do those things. So you have to be willing to basically do your day job, which is helping people and like looking at houses, showings, having consultations and things like that, but also do your night job, which is maintaining your website, making sure your IDX is actually working and doing your follow-ups that you may not have had time to do during the day. So it's just being willing to work. Where focus goes, energy flows. You're not gonna have the energy to do it, and you're not gonna go and do the activities you need. You have to be focused on your goal. You have to have a set goal. Now that goal may sound different than mine was. That was, by the way, my goal in 2016 to do in 2017, and I blew that out of the water. But the reason is because every single morning I was reminding myself, my name is Julie Calza. I will sell 50 units at over 10 million in volume my first full year in real estate. And every activity I did fed that or fed my family. So I was either putting energy into making sure my family was whole or putting energy into that goal. Mm-hmm. And if you're splitting your time trying to do all these things, it's just not going to work. Mm-hmm. There's not a magic pill. You have to be focused and you have to do consistent activities, which the Greatness Tracker is a great gauge of those activities.
An attitude that dates back to her childhood and to some degree a special relationship with mac and cheese.
Rumor has it that you have a very tight relationship with mac and cheese.
I do. So
I brought this for you,
Thank you.
And I'd love to hear what that relationship is all about.
Oh man, so it's super symbolic for me. I actually didn't know you were gonna do this. It's amazing. So mac and cheese is a symbol for me, and I grew up very poor. And, you know, we ate whatever the bargain basement bin was at the time. That's just what we did. And my mom worked so much, and she was a single mother. She didn't want to put a lot of effort into dinner when we came home. It was nothing against her. She was dealing with a lot. And as an adult, I can more appreciate everything that she did to help me become a well-adjusted adult. But so I ate mac and cheese all the time. And as I got older, my mom got remarried and we had, you know, a more middle-class lifestyle, and I would try to eat things and I would get sick because I wasn't used to eating things like chicken and heavy amounts of meat and things like that. And I just hated it. But I was so ashamed that whenever I went out with friends or would go to the mall, to the food court, I would order something that I knew I wouldn't like just because I didn't want to be made fun of. And so I would just sit there and eat something that made me sick, or I would just sit there and move my food around hoping that they didn't notice. Mm-hmm. And that actually continued up through being in the Marine Corps and then going to college after the Marine Corps. And mac and cheese is essentially a symbol for me of this is me. This is who I am, and I'm okay with it. I don't really care if you are. Mm-hmm. I love mac and cheese. It's a symbol of my youth and where I came from, and I'm not gonna go to restaurants anymore or go somewhere and pretend to be something I'm not. Mm-hmm. That's just not who I am. I'm the girl that will wear jeans and Converse to show houses, and I'm also the girl who is not afraid to tell you if that house is a bad deal, right? And I think people really appreciate that authenticity. So it's a symbol of that.
Julie is the only agent in Arizona nominated for and in the running for the National Association of Realtors 30 Under 30 Award. It is a huge recognition. Congratulations, Julie. Best of luck, and thank you for your service to our country. To get plugged into My Home Group's endless resources, go to agentsuccessformula.com. And don't forget to subscribe to MHG TV at mhgtv.com. I'm Catherine Anaya. I'll see you next time.